Hey Raneem, thanks so much for coming in today. I'm so excited to get to know you a little bit better and ask you some questions.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah,
So excited.
awesome.
I loved getting to hang out with you at all the soccer games, all the little like all of
Our
Gio's
fun
parties.
car rides.
Yeah, and car rides. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. So anyway, to get started with everything, I kind of want to hear a little bit about like your life back in Saudi. I mean, everybody knows you as an English girl over here, but you got a whole flip side.
So my life story is a lot, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of moving back and forth. But
Yeah.
basically, I'm from Saudi Arabia. I was born there. My entire family's from there, both my mom and my dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in first grade, my mom's a college professor over there,
Oh, cool.
and she decided that she wants to get her master's degree in early childhood education, which
Yeah.
basically means that she teaches like college students how to become teachers and stuff. And
Aw.
I moved here in first grade because she decided to get her master's. I lived in Tennessee for 4 years, lived in Martin, Murfreesboro, and then Nashville for 2 years. It was so much fun. And then we lived in St. Louis, Missouri for 1 year. And then we moved back to Saudi Arabia because she graduated with her master's degree. And then in summer of like 2019, she decided that she wants to get her PhD degree, which is the highest degree that she can get. And that's why we moved to Alabama. And now we're here, and
Wow.
I've been going to Oak Mountain since freshman year. So
That's
Awesome.
crazy. How has it been? Like, how do you deal with each move? Like, are you just kind of like used to it because it's like ritual, or is it kind of like difficult to readjust each time?
So at first, moving here was definitely really hard, but I was
Yeah.
also really young, so I don't remember much of it. But we visit Saudi every single summer, so we go every single summer for like a month or two, and so it's not really that hard to like go there and like come back here because it's like I've been going there my whole life, and
Yeah.
I'm from there, so we visit it all the time. So that's been like really fun though, is like being able to like go somewhere during the summer and have a designated place
Exactly.
to go,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's so much fun over there. We do so much stuff over the summer.
Do you have any cool stories of growing up in Saudi or have any cool friendships that
So
Mhm.
actually,
Mm.
funny you.
I've heard some
exploiting.
stories?
Yeah.
Funny you'll ask. I became best friend, and I still am best friends with a Saudi princess because over there it's a monarchy, which means we have a royal family and a king and everything. We don't vote for presidents or anything like that.
Yeah.
And when I went to a private school there when I was in like fifth grade, it was a private international school. And there was this girl that everybody kept talking about. They were like, oh, she's moving back here. And I was like so confused. I was like, who are y'all talking about? I was like, because I was the new girl because I just came from America. And it was such like a big thing over there. Like, oh, she speaks fluent English. Like, she's so good at it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like the way my accent is compared to like people over there too. But this new girl moved to school. And I was just like, is that the new girl they're talking about? But I had no idea. And we ended up becoming really close friends. And she invited my sister and I. My sister is a junior. She's 1 year younger than me, and like we're like best friends. And so
Aw.
we're always together. So my friends are her friends are mine. And she like invited us over to her house one day, except for the fact that my mom comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, so I got a text from the secretary of somebody from the royal family." And I was like, "I'm so confused. What are you talking about?" And she shows us the text, and it's like, "Hey, like we'd like Raneem and Rama to come over tonight at this time and everything." And so the royal family there all has the same last name, and I was just new. Like I was a fifth grade kid. Like I didn't know anything about that, and so I
Yeah.
had no idea that that was like her or she was from the royal family or anything.
Right.
Up until the second Ram and I stepped into her house, and it was humongous. It was literally a mansion. She has like a farm in her backyard. Like she literally has deers, horses, every animal you can think
Oh
of.
my
Oh,
She has
gosh.
wow.
golf carts that we drive around her house. She had like 5 pools. It was insane.
That
And
is
she actually got me my
crazy.
first phone when I was in like sixth
Oh,
grade.
wow.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
That was my birthday gift. And then for my sweet 16, she got me an iPad.
Oh my gosh.
I get like a bath
So
bomb
no
for
one
my
can
birthday.
talk-
You're over here
Yeah, I
getting a phone.
No one can talk Raneem's friend, okay?
And she's so sweet and so generous and just
Yeah.
so kind. And it was
That's
just,
awesome.
it was really funny because I had no idea that she was who she was up until
Yeah.
the second I stepped into her house. I was like, oh, there's no way.
Yeah,
But
and
Yeah,
too,
that's
like,
crazy.
just not knowing who she was probably allowed you to build that like genuinely
For
authentic
sure, I agree.
relationship rather than like, oh, you're the princess. Where's my phone at? Yeah.
Where's my phone at?
And
Yeah.
so many of my memories growing up in Saudi or like over the summer in Saudi came from memories that I made with her. And it was really
Aw.
fun. And we still, every time I visit over the summer, we still hang out all the time. And I'm actually going to be moving back soon.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be moving back after I graduate high school, which is the same time that my mom's actually getting her PhD degree. And so my whole family's going to move back because there's no point in staying here anymore because
Yeah.
my whole family lives in Saudi. And if I end up going to college, the same city that she lives in, then we'll definitely be hanging out like every single weekend. So I'm
Oh,
excited.
that's
so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
Reuniting.
Yeah, honestly, reuniting, that's crazy. How would
That's
you
so
say,
fun.
like, going from, I mean, most of your life from first grade and on has been here,
Mhm.
right? How would you say going back to that culture and that culture, like, immersion? Do you think it's going to be different? Like, are you
I
nervous?
agree. I do think that it will be definitely different and
Yeah.
it'll be hard at first, but I've learned to just acclimate around like where I am because I've moved so much. And
Yeah.
so fitting in isn't really hard for me, but it's also not just fitting in, it's being who you are around other people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really hard at first, especially the first few months that I'm there, but I feel like it'll grow on me and like it'll be okay. And because I visit every single summer, so it's not going to be too big of a difference.
Yeah.
But definitely the culture and everything over there is a lot more different than it is over here. So
What's
that's
one
going
of
to be
bet.
hard about
What's
it.
one of like the main differences between like the United States and Saudi?
So I will say that the biggest difference that I notice every time I go is the fact that here everything is more like friends based or like
Mm-hmm.
centered around hanging out with your friends and stuff. While over there it's a lot more family centered and like I do hang out with my friends over there occasionally, but it's not nearly as much as I do over here. Like you don't just like text somebody, "Hey, you want to go to the gym at this time?" or like, "Hey, you want to go do this?" Like it's like you basically plan your hangouts way in advance, and that's something that I've noticed. And like I will say that people here take like family hangouts and stuff differently. Like some people hang out all the time with their family, but
Mm-hmm.
over there, everything you do is with your family. Like at my grandparents' house, all my cousins gather at my grandparents' house every single week. So it's
Oh,
Oh,
that's
like
so
it's a lot
yeah.
fun.
more family centered.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah, that's awesome because I mean, over here we neglect that sometimes. And that's
Yeah.
something that we honestly need to take a second and be like, no, like we're getting our family together. We're getting that reuniting. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Family connection is very important.
It is. And you don't appreciate it until you lose it. So it's
Exactly.
definitely important to focus on that, especially while we're still
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Hmm.
What are we all know that you were hurt during indoor and outdoor season from your ACL tear during homecoming week.
Yeah.
But that gave you like major opportunities, like picks by Raneem and like making all these friendships that you probably didn't think you'd be able to achieve if you were running. So tell us more about that.
So I tore my ACL back in September.
I still remember getting that text. I was like, no,
It was such a shock because I was
Yeah.
literally it was a powder puff practice. I ran in a straight line, twisted trying to catch a football, and I just planted my foot wrong. And I didn't think there was an ACL tear because I've literally never been bit by a bee, never or like stung by a bee, never been injured at all, like haven't broken a single bone, and then from nothing to like tearing your ACL, like that is a lot.
Yeah.
And so I ended up tearing it like before homecoming week, but I'm an SJ and I'm class VP and social events committee chair. So I felt obligated to be there during homecoming week and fulfill my SJ duties and watch over everything, especially with like float building and all that.
Yeah.
And so I decided to wait 2 weeks to get my surgery, which looking back at it now, that was definitely not the right choice.
Yeah.
It was not a good choice. But
Oh.
I got surgery and I was out of school for like 2, 3 weeks. Like it was so painful, and I've never
Yeah.
been through pain like that in my life. But my friends, like you mentioned earlier, are like part of the only reason that I got through it is because I literally had somebody over every single day,
Mm-hmm.
and they were so sweet. They literally got me through all that, and it
Oh,
was so nice of them to be there for me.
that's
But
awesome.
it's been really hard, especially with like physical therapy and all that. Like at first, I literally had so many absences last semester because of going to PT 3 times a week and having to check out from school, go over to the
Mm.
clinic, and everything. But through PT, I met so many new people, and I became friends with people that I would never have talked to if I weren't in there with
Right.
them. And that environment is just so motivating because everybody around you is also going through something, and it
Yeah.
just brings you all closer. So I've
Yeah.
learned to appreciate everything so much more. And it's been really hard, but at the same time, it's kept me more positive in a way because it's made me realize that, like, even though you're going through something, there's always, like, light at the end of the tunnel and everything happens for a reason, which is something I really, really believe in.
Oh, so
That's
sweet.
awesome. I know. I was like, all right, I'm at a loss for words. Like, I can't ask any more questions. I just need to let her talk about her life. Like, what the heck? That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it was really hard at first. And also, speaking of Pics by Raneem, my
Yes.
Instagram account for my
Yes.
pictures, I like took pictures for the soccer team last
Yes,
year when they won
yes.
state, and it was so much fun.
Oh,
I got to
yeah.
see you playing,
Mhm.
and it was a lot of fun. And so I decided that I wanted to start an account for photography because it's something that I love doing,
Yeah.
and it could be like a side hobby. And I was actually going to shadow someone working for Shelby County Reporter during football
wow.
season
Oh, wow.
and take
Okay.
pics at the games. But that's like literally right before I tore my ACL, and
Yeah.
so I wasn't able to do any of that.
Yeah.
So I was really bummed out about that. But recently, like a few months ago, I went to like a month ago, soccer season just started.
Yeah, yeah,
I went
yeah.
to like the first game and I took pictures of both the boys and the girls, and that's when I
They're
started my
so good,
account.
y'all. Y'all gotta check them out. They're so good. Oh.
Have you always had that passion for photography?
I would say in a sense, yes, because like when we're at like Gia's birthday parties or
Yes,
like anybody's
yes.
birthday parties, I'm
It's
always
always her.
It's always
It's
me with
always
the
her.
camera being like, "Hey guys, let's get some pictures."
Yes, and they're so good. Every single time I'm like, please send them to me.
So that's like where it all started. Is I'm always a friend being like, "Hey guys, we need to get pictures." And this is one thing all my friends can say that it's true. Is I'm always like, "Hey guys, like let's take pics." And when they complain about it, I'm like, "Who are y'all gonna like? What are y'all gonna show your kids in 10 years?"
Exactly.
And I'm always
yeah.
telling them
The
to
value of the
document the
picture.
memories.
Right.
Mhm.
I always say, and I quote, document the memories, document the memories with pictures, because that's what is going to remain with you. Like, you'll have a memory,
just got
but
chills.
pictures is proof.
I did too.
That
She's
was
too
so
good, y'all.
sweet.
She's too good.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh,
That was
but
so
yeah,
sweet.
so like you said, just documenting like your life with pictures. I know sometimes my Mimi is like, I don't want to take a picture, blah blah blah, but it's like, no, that's what we're gonna like remember you by.
And that's
so,
what
Yeah.
you're going to look back on is
Exactly.
those pictures. And, like, I know it makes me so happy whenever my mom shows me old pictures or, like, pictures from me when I was a baby.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just nice to have a bunch of pictures to show people.
Yeah, it's almost
and,
like your
family
way
and
of
friends.
giving back, of connecting. That's awesome. Yeah.
Speaking of like pictures of when you were a baby, do you remember anything of like your early years in Saudi?
So, not really. Honestly, no. I feel like
Mhm.
just like moving back, like, or moving here when I was in first grade is sort of where I started like actually remembering stuff. And like, I do remember a few memories of like summer or like whenever it would be summer and all my cousins would come over to the city that we
Yeah.
lived in and like we'd all hang out and stuff. But most of my Saudi memories are more recent from over the summer here, like when I'm older. But I have a lot of memories of my childhood back in Tennessee, especially with like
Aw.
elementary school.
Yeah.
Like all those like whenever we'd like do Valentine's Day and everyone would give each other candy.
Oh my gosh!
and,
Wait,
like,
how was
fun
it like? Like
runs.
the different traditions coming here?
So,
was that like a shocker for
It
you?
was a shock because like over here there's like a new holiday. There's literally a holiday every single month.
Yes,
Every
there
single
is,
month.
yes.
And we don't have that over there. We have two major
Uh-huh.
holidays in Islam, which is what is the religion in Saudi, like the biggest religion in Saudi.
Right.
And so they're both called Eid, and like we celebrate them with hang out with family, friends, giving gifts and money. So in a sense, it is sort of like Christmas.
Yeah.
But those are like our only two major holidays, and like only recently have they started like taking or like doing stuff like Valentine's Day and just like New Year's Eve. Like I don't
Yeah.
remember celebrating that a few years ago when I was in Saudi, and now it's like everybody celebrates it. So in a sense, or in Saudi, they're talking about doing this thing called Vision 2030, where they're trying to be more modern and apply more things that are like here and in other countries over there. And I really like that. It's made it a lot more inclusive.
Yeah.
And there's
that's
so many
awesome.
more tourists who visit over there, and it's like really pretty over the summer. Like
Oh, I
Ugh,
bet
I
it's
love it.
gorgeous over there. I can only imagine.
Yeah, that's
if y'all
awesome.
ever visit, hit me up. Y'all can stay at my
Yes.
house.
Can I come stay at your house, please? Can I meet the princess?
And over there, another thing, okay, this is gonna sound really spoiled of me, but I hate doing the dishes. I literally almost cried last night doing the dishes. I hate them. And so over there we have maids and drivers, and
Yeah.
I also don't have my license.
Yeah, that's
it's
what you
really
said, yeah.
embarrassing. I know. I'm 18 and I still don't have my license, still don't drive.
But hey, you have a bunch of
But-
friends to cart you around, so
Yeah.
that's not a big deal.
Like you, for
yeah,
example.
you got me.
And a very fun card came out of that.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, that was a blast.
But we have maids and drivers over there. So that's like
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I'm like, whenever people are like, oh, why don't you drive? I'm like, well, when I go back, they don't really have to drive.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not considered rich like people would see here. Like, oh, you have a maid and driver. Like, oh, you're really wealthy. No, that's like part of middle class over there. Like, that's part of like,
Oh, really?
everybody over there does that. That's like
That's cool.
regular.
So is it
So
like
I'm
your
excited.
own personal driver, or is it like a community thing?
No,
where
it's like your own family's
Oh,
personal
wow.
driver.
Oh,
and they
wow.
like live with you. And then your maids also live with you too, obviously,
cool.
and they hang out with you, eat with you, everything.
Oh
And
my
I
gosh, so
actually
they're literally
remember-
like your
they're
family.
literally like your best friends.
Yeah.
I remember when I was back for like 2 years before coming back here in 2019, we had a maid named Julie actually, and she
Oh,
was
cool.
so sweet. And she
Aw.
literally was like me and my sister's second mother, and she would always
Aw.
braid our hair and everything because she would like
Oh,
do really
so
pretty
sweet.
French braids.
You're like literally living a princess
Yeah.
movie. Like
You
what? Where's my invite?
I will say
Yeah.
Saudi life is it's a lot like royalty, and that's like one
Yeah.
thing that made me like decide to go there for college is because I thought about going to college here, but when I look back at it or when I look at it, I'm like long term I want to live over there, and also my whole family's from there and they live there, and I can't let that go.
Yeah.
Like being here my whole
yeah.
life, I feel like it's time to finally move back and settle in.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Start building from the ground up back over
Mhm.
there.
Was it like a major culture shock when you came over in first grade? Were you like, holy cow, what is this?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So whenever y'all watch like the high school American
Yes,
movies, like
yes,
yes,
that's
yes.
exactly how I would like describe it and explain the feeling. Is like it's so cool. And like I know a lot of people from Europe will like relate to this, where like they're like talking about how high schoolers have football games and stuff like that because they don't have that over there. Football isn't a sport in Saudi. Like our sport is soccer. That's why I love
Yeah.
soccer so much.
Yeah.
But our sport is soccer over there. But when I first moved here, I actually did not speak English. Like all I know was how to say yes and no and the ABCs. And
Oh.
so I had to
Oh.
redo first grade because I couldn't speak the language.
Yeah.
So they bumped me down a grade, and I took first grade even though I had already taken it in Saudi. And my mom taught me English literally by just watching Cat in the Hat and like
Yeah.
other shows.
And you mentioned
then
that your mom didn't even like know
She didn't
English
know
when she was
English at
teaching you.
all.
Yeah.
So
That's
we're like learning
crazy.
together.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like
Oh
a
my
major
gosh.
bonding experience,
yeah,
I bet.
it was.
That's awesome.
And that's really funny because sometimes I'll help her edit her PhD paper. And it's just
Aw.
like, it's really funny looking back at it because she used to be
Yeah.
the one to teach me, and I'm the one
Yeah.
helping her out.
Exactly.
awesome.
I know too, like being that young and not being able to speak the language is very intimidating. So like how I guess what would your advice be to like other kids going through that are
So I'm a very social person, as y'all
Yeah.
can tell, as
Yes,
y'all know.
love it. I
Yes,
actually love
yes.
it.
The hardest part about it was having to make friendships or to bond with people without speaking the language. But you bond with people whether you like it or not. Like it's like you realize things, you bond with people over things that you don't even realize. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say the
That's
best
not
thing
all
is to
language.
just be yourself. It's not all about language. You can have friends who don't even speak the same language as you.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah.
And so literally just bond, be yourself. That's definitely the biggest thing that I will say that helps is to be yourself regardless of where you are, who you're around, because if you're unique to who you are, the people that are right for you will come find you.
Yeah.
So if you don't
So
feel
sweet.
appreciated somewhere,
More
go
chill
somewhere
bumps.
else.
Okay. No, I'm just sitting here
Yeah.
thinking about all the like the clips from the interview, and I'm like,
Yes.
I clipped
Y'all
that
are making me
one.
feel
Is
so
that
wise.
one?
Oh my gosh, thanks.
No, you literally are. You're so well spoken. Like
Thank
it
you.
is amazing. So
That makes me so
yeah.
happy.
What are your future plans after going back this summer?
So I actually would like to. So I'm going to be taking 2 major exams during spring break that are going to be taken into consideration for college in Saudi.
Oh,
Because
okay.
like you see how y'all have the ACT over here.
Yeah.
We don't use that over there. We have an exam called GAT, and then we use the SAAT, which I literally have never heard of up until like a week ago. But
You're like, okay, I'll take that, I guess.
I'm taking that in like 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
we'll find out how that goes. But basically, the GAT exam I've taken last summer, I actually had to go to Texas for it because it's only offered in specific places.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's like comprehension and then math stuff. And I made an 80 on it, which is not terrible at all, especially for someone who doesn't know anything on it and didn't really study for it, which is my fault. But it's okay. But I want to do something in the medical field. And in
Yeah.
order to get into the medical field, you have to make like at least like a 95. So I definitely plan on making that 95 because I have like 4 or 5 tries. And so I know that I'll be able to. But over there, college, another thing about college and like differences and stuff is you
Yeah.
don't get to choose your major. You basically take
Wait,
this exam.
what?
You take this exam, and based off
Wow.
of what score you make,
That's crazy.
they'll rank your majors and everything, and they'll put you in specific majors, and you get to choose whichever one you want. So the higher score you get, the better it is because you get more options.
Oh, wow.
So it's their kind of way of like whittling out the
Mhm.
goodness
And
gracious.
in a sense, I think that's honestly a good idea and a good thing because it's like
Yeah.
somebody who's not underqualified isn't going to get into that field.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
good.
there's
That-
no
yeah,
that is
people
true.
holding you back. Yeah.
But it also makes you really work for like if you want it, you have to really work for it. And since
Yeah.
I want to get into the medical field, I'm going to work my butt off for the next 2 weeks, and I'm
Yeah.
going to study a lot so I can hopefully get that 95 or even
We
better.
won't be seeing her at the soccer games.
No.
She's gonna be pulling late
I'm gonna be,
all-nighters.
like,
Right.
pulling all-nighters, studying and everything.
Yeah.
We were
Um,
talking the other day about like you wanting to possibly go into like dermatology and like
Yes.
creating your own skincare brand
Oh
in
my gosh,
office.
yes.
Like, tell us more
Yes.
about that.
So I want to become a dermatologist, and then I want to open up a clinic, and so I can have people working for me, and then I want to eventually create my own skincare line. And we don't really do minors over there. Like, it's like just the major. Like, you don't major and minor and things. But
Yeah.
they're starting to try to implement that. And hopefully I want to go through a business workshop and then get a business degree through that. And then that way I'll be able to do something with, like, photography as well, because I really, really want to continue
Yeah.
that
Okay,
over
yeah.
there.
So
Can
that's
have, like,
something
photo
you are
shoots
wanting
of
to
your
continue.
products
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And photography can be
It's
like
so
a side
cool.
hobby, because I can totally do that on the
Oh,
side,
yeah,
like I do
absolutely.
in school and everything.
And too, oh my gosh, what if you had your own little dermatology
Hey, I'll
models?
send y'all some
Oh
products.
yes.
Yes.
I guarantee
Send
you
your
I will be
product
buying
models.
them. Yes.
I'll be
That's
the little
awesome.
Instagram advertisement.
Yes. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I love this product.
Bye,
Hey, I'll
Raneem.
open
Go
a
get
branch
it.
in the USA, and y'all can just be the ones in charge of that.
Right.
Oh yes, yes.
Y'all get dibs.
we
oh my
can like
gosh.
design the
Exactly.
container and
Oh
stuff.
my gosh, yes. Are there any
Everything's gonna be
like
pink. Just letting y'all know. Everything's
yeah.
gonna be pink.
when you said like the dermatologist, I literally thought of pink. Like
Really?
I
You
kid
know
you
me
not, I was
so
thinking
well.
about like this pink bottle with like water like dripping outside
You
of
know
it,
me
taking
so
the
well.
picture. It's like it's gonna have to be pink.
It
But
will
yeah.
be.
What are your main like skincare products that you're looking at
So
making?
definitely what I use, well, my skincare routine is literally just cleanser and then moisturizer. I used to use a whole bunch of serums, but I just don't care enough to anymore. Like, I'm just like,
Yeah, yeah.
there's
That's so
too
real.
much that I don't
Sometimes
know.
less is more.
Yeah, like, and I just don't know which ones are right for me. So I definitely want to do more research before I come to the conclusion of what I'm going to end up making.
Yeah.
But moisturizer and cleanser are definitely number one right now. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you have like any pathways already in your head for like how you're gonna get that out?
honestly, my goal plan or like my plan right now is to get into medical school.
Yeah.
We'll start off there.
Right.
Start off there.
Make
Yeah.
Make
Start
that
at the beginning.
95, and so I can get into medical school. And my dad actually works at a hospital in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he doesn't live with us because he works over there, but he visits for like 2 months throughout the year. And he works at a hospital over there, and that hospital also has a college. And so if I get into medical school, then I can just go there. And I
Yeah.
want to end up working in the hospital he works at. And then eventually, maybe creating a skincare line and opening up a clinic isn't the plan for the next 8 years, but hopefully it'll happen at some point.
Yeah.
That is
that's
so cool.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What is your biggest piece of advice for those making bold decisions and like coming over and creating a new life?
So the biggest thing that I'd say is to, like I said earlier, be yourself and don't let anybody else dictate the decision that you plan to make, because what somebody's opinion of you is doesn't matter. You're the only person who knows what you're going through. You're the only person who can take those factors into consideration. So definitely be the one to take advice from yourself. Like,
Yeah,
I know a lot of us
advocate.
give people advice, but we don't really take it. And my advice to everybody and myself is to take your own advice and to just take whatever step is necessary in order to go through with your goals.
I just
Like,
got
literally
chills
just do
again.
it. Just do it.
Same.
The third time this interview.
She's too
That's
good at
crazy.
this.
Another
She's
thing
too good at this.
I always say is that life goes on. And like
Yeah.
I said earlier, everything happens for a reason. Life goes on. Nothing, like going through the ACL tear and everything and like still going through recovery right now,
Yeah.
I've learned that life truly does go on. And like even though there's something hard going on, just focus on the little things. Like even little things can be celebrations. So
That was precious.
Do you have anything else along those lines? Because that is so good. If you have anything, say it now.
yeah, that's it.
No, that's so awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in and
Yes.
speaking
Thank
with
y'all
us.
for having me. It's such an honor.
Of course. You have so much wisdom. It's so well worded.
that
You
was
are
so
amazing. Yeah,
Y'all
you're
are
gonna be
too.
you're gonna be clipped all over Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Be like Raneem. Oh, my girl. Yeah,
I'm
this is
excited.
awesome.
I'll repost. Don't worry.
Yes, you better. Well, yeah. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
in.
y'all
It was
so
a
much
blast.
for having me.
Of course.
I love y'all
You
so much.
freaking killed that.
I had to cough that entire time.